once again to Moral High Ground, where I talk about what's morally right in the world, and to you, and to me. Anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed this show and this season. It's, I'm wrapping it up pretty well, and I appreciate all of you that are my fans that have been watching locally and globally, because Moral High Ground reached a global plateau in 4 countries, and one of the best countries that watches and loves this show is in Nigeria. So Nigerians, be good, be good, do things that's morally right, and just spread the word and let me know, all of my fans. Like I said, I appreciate you all. You're my friends, and I couldn't do this without you guys. Besides, I'm just gonna do it anyway because I like talking about things that make sense, that might hopefully change the world for the better. Now, with that being said, today's topic is about Elon Musk. And the reason why I'm talking about this wealthy, ingenious man is because there's been interviews about him. Well, they've been talking about a certain interview that we're going to review today. And they always talk about this interview in a way where they say that Elon Musk is anti-Semite towards Jewish people. They talk about him having a problem with advertisement on X, which is formerly known as Twitter, and all this stuff. And so what I hate about the media, and I hate about just news altogether, is they'll tell you half-truths. Tell you half-truths, small truths, and completely lie, twist things around, it could brainwash you. So I'd rather watch the interview itself and truly understand it. This is what I do on my own time, period. I watch things like this because I don't like what I've seen on the news. And so I figured it'd be a perfect topic because, well, is the things he's talking about morally right? Is it right for society, the things we're talking about? A guy who's trying to do so much to change the world and is wealthy enough to do it. And certain ways he's doing it, and not in a way where I would say go out and help people like I always talk about, but in a way where he events cars to more of a safety thing, because that's what Teslas are. The Tesla cars are mostly a safety car. I mean, it's got backup things going on, all these computers that tell you if something's going to hit your car or close to your car. So, I mean, that's to save lives. And so he's also talking about robotics and so forth. You can actually hear traffic and whatnot in my background because it's freaking a little stuffy in here. So I open the door, and probably my voice is vibrating multiple times on this show, but who cares? So, with that being said, I am very curious on the truth of what Elon Musk said in this interview because, well, the guy is very wise, and I think he's separate from other wealthy people because of the way he talks. And he sounds like he's no nonsense. He's not with the bullshit. He's not trying to keep things going to where you're not aware of what's happening in the world. He's trying to make it so you are aware of what's happening in the world, and this is why he took over Twitter. And so with that being said, this is an hour and 30-something minute video. Now I'm only going to get as far as I can and maybe make part 2. So here we go. Let's get into it.
Please welcome Andrew Ross Sorkin and his guest, CEO of Tesla, CEO of SpaceX, Chief Engineer and CTO of X, Elon Musk.
Now that right there is a big title. He's CEO 3 times over, or CTO and CEO 3 times over, because he's not just a. See, that's the separation of a rich person from someone who, how can I say, has a creative mind. Because most rich people just become a CEO of one company and they're satisfied with that until they get bought out by other people in the board so forth, or they might make a merger and take over the company in a different way and make a whole nother branched out company separate of that. But what Elon Musk has done is he's made multiple companies based off of ideas he's had. I mean, Tesla's was an idea of his. SpaceX, the stuff he does in there is something that he's passionate about. And when it comes to X, it's a whole thing of taking the crap away from the politicians, because they were really taking over Twitter and they were putting things in, and then you got the people that are woke or whatever following these politicians, and they're trying to brainwash us with their own brand of manipulation and confusion to just make it a toxic website. Me personally, I tried to start Twitter when Twitter came out. I've said this before, and I didn't really understand it, and I really didn't do any much things on it at all. I ain't even like maybe posted one thing, and then like I couldn't get back into my Twitter, and Lord knows I tried everything. I had recently had a friend of mine who does all this stuff. He gets paid to do social media stuff for people, get my Twitter back, and so I'm happy that I got it back now when Elon Musk owns it, because I think it's better. So anyway, here we go.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for being with us throughout the day. And I couldn't be more pleased to sit with Elon Musk as our final interview of this remarkable time we've all had together. He doesn't need much of an introduction, but I want to say a couple things. He's the richest person in the world. He may very well be the most consequential individual in the world right now. He runs the most innovative companies in the world: Tesla, SpaceX, Starlink, which is part of that, Neuralink, the Boring Company, X, and his X.ai. And he's disrupted each of these lanes. He's moved at breakneck speeds, but he's facing some controversy in the process. He joins us today following a visit, as you all know so well, and we discussed earlier, on Monday to Israel, where he met with the Prime Minister there and the President of Israel. And we're going to talk about everything. And my hope is that we can talk about how he thinks, about his influence, about his power, about all of it. And we're going to talk about innovation and everything else. I want to say just two other things real quick.
Sure.
We met each other for the first time 16 years ago.
Yeah, it's a long time.
It's been a long time. And
Oldest kids were 3.
when we first met, I think you were about to deliver your first Roadster. I don't think you had yet. Larry Page was still waiting.
Yeah, that's
to get
like 2007.
2007, 2008. And I remember
Roadster was delivered in 2008.
I remember going back to the newsroom and saying, I think I just met the next Steve Jobs.
So, with everything he just said, going back a bit, the reason why the news is all going on about the Israel thing and saying that he's anti-Semite is what this guy just said. He went and visited the Prime Minister of Israel, and so that's a touchy issue. When any American goes overseas on their own accord to meet with a high authority figure, there's a problem. We've seen that happen with Tulsi Gabbard going over to Iraq or Iran, I think it was, and meeting with their leader there, and then Hillary Clinton exploiting her and making her look like a terrorist. And it's just really stupid. And certain things like that happen. But that just means that it takes power away from the government that's supposed to meet with these people and puts it into the hands of other people. And by Elon Musk just being a regular guy, even though he's rich, it just makes it say, okay, this guy is trying to do something, hidden agenda. So they gotta make him look bad. They gotta make him look horrible, even if he went over there to make it look like something that was positive. And he knows, like, he's more, like, I always talk and obsess about the world. You hear me say world. Elon Musk always says Earth. So I'm thinking somewhere in there I got a similar mindset, or vice versa, but at the same time I don't have the wealth. But that's what I'm compelled about myself. So I understand a little bit of Elon Musk's nature and where he's coming from. So here we go again. And yeah.
And
Okay, what was this?
I'm going to hold to that.
Okay.
I'm going to hold to that. But a lot has happened between when I first met you and now. You came to deal
It's
with...
been boring, that's for sure. Wait, actually, technically I do have a boring company.
2012, you came to DealBook and sat on this stage, and we're thrilled to have you back. But there's been so much that's happened between now and then, and there's been so much that's happened in the past week and a half. And a lot of folks, and I want to tell you this, a lot of folks called me up and said, you really going to host Elon Musk here? Can you believe what he just said on Twitter? On X. On X.
Yeah. So I don't, no idea what this Twitter thing is you keep talking about.
Should you platform him? That's what they said.
Yeah.
Should you platform him? And I said that I think that it's our role, and I know you have issues with journalists.
I have a platform.
I know you have an issue with journalists oftentimes, but I said it's our role to have conversations and to inquire and to sometimes even interrogate ideas. And
Sure.
I'm hoping we can do that. So I want to start just so we can begin this conversation and just level set. Take us through everything that happened, if you could.
Everything.
No, over the past week and a half.
How long have you got?
We've got the time.
Okay.
You send out a post or an X or a tweet.
Yeah,
I don't know what
post,
you want to
whatever.
describe
Yeah.
it as.
I'm trying to change. Like when things were just 140 characters, it made sense to call them a tweet because like a bunch of little birds chirping. But when the point at which you put like 3-hour videos on, it's like it's a very long tweet.
So here we are.
Post is more descriptive, I think.
And
so that's what makes X better than Twitter right there. And what he's saying that, tweet, you could just put like a little phrase or whatever. That's a tweet because you're chirping, it's small, it's tiny. Even though birds can chirp a hell of a lot. But, now you can post a whole video, which I do. I post these videos as well as other videos and things I create on X. So for my artwork, you gotta go to Instagram for that, and Facebook, and now YouTube, because I created my art world. And so these are the tiny things that separate Twitter from X.
at that point, I don't know where you were, but you write in responding to another tweet.
Yes.
This is the actual truth, and it set off a firestorm of criticism all the way to the White House.
Right.
And then you make this trip to Israel. You have advertisers who left the platform. People calling.
Well, the trip to Israel is independent of it wasn't some like apology tour. I want to be clear. That was.
Okay, well, let's talk about that. So just take us back to the moment at which you write that.
Trip to Israel is independent of. It wasn't like in response to that at all.
Well, we'll do Israel in just a moment.
And I have no problem being hated, by the way.
I hear
Hate
you.
away.
Well, but you know what? Let's go straight to that then for a second.
Sure.
Because there is an idea, and you.
And so this is a problem when he says he's going to say a lot of things probably. I'd only seen about 3 minutes of this, so I've already got a little bit past what I've seen already. But the thing is, what he's going to say, whatever he says is kind of offensive. And this is why this guy's like, let's get into that, because that was already offensive by saying he's not afraid of anything. So, yeah. So, him not being afraid of saying whatever he feels is a problem for media. And that's what this guy's trying to get at, probably.
You could say that.
I think it's a real weakness to want to be liked. A real weakness. And I do not have that.
Well, let me ask you this then. There's a difference between saying I don't care if anyone likes me or they hate me.
I have to pause it again because what he just said is the truth. There is somewhat of a weakness to wanting to be liked. I mean, in so many cases, people put themselves in the most horrid of situations because they choose to be liked by the wrong individuals most of the time. They'll see someone's popular or they got a certain style they like, they want to copy it, they want to imitate it. But in most cases, some of the styles and personalities people have is based off of something they watched or some other celebrity or something of that nature. This is why so many people sound the same or come off the same or even believe the same things, because they didn't have their original thought. It's just someone that they idolized said something that meant something to them, and they said, wow, I gotta be like this person. And this is where it comes in. But where is the originality of themselves? What is it that they like that doesn't strike a chord for everybody else. And then analyze that. What is it that you like that no one else really likes? And because you like it, should you be ashamed of it because you know other people ain't gonna like it, or should you just embrace it? With me, I embrace my weirdness, as they call it, even though it's not. It's more logical because I believe in God, and so a lot of godly things people don't understand because they, even though they call themselves Christian, they don't know when the rules of being a Christian outside of the Bible when it comes to not listening to a lot of circular music. And there's lots I've listened to in the past. A lot of 90s music and 80s music and 70s music that I know that I like. But for now, in this time period, there's not much at all because they're not the same. It's all rap, and there's not a lot of singing like used to be. Real good soul music, a lot of singing, backup singers, instruments. It's sad that the black culture doesn't have enough people playing instruments anymore, and it's all computerized and synthesized. And if that's the case, we can easily get replaced by technology when it comes to anything, even vocal cords now. And so I believe that the whole culture needs to understand that that's a preference to listen to the circular music or not. And when you say circular, you mean the most popular music in society. And that's where the difference between gospel comes in. Gospel, or I guess you would say religious music, is a difference. So if you're listening to something that's more godly or church type music, that's non-circular. And everything you listen to when it comes from hip hop to rock and heavy metal and all that, that is all circular music. Pop and everything, it's all circular music. But when you listen to gospel, that's non-circular. So that's just so you understand. And when it comes to certain things with partying, yeah, you can party. It depends on what you think a party is. A party is just going and dancing, eating, and enjoying yourself with your friends or family. Or parties where you go and there's a concert and there's bloodshed and there's violence and there's sex and drugs and all this crap. So this is why certain people have different types of parties compared to those that have big extreme parties. And so, which one's more demonic? So you have to think and analyze through your, Christianity. If you are Christian, or even if it's another religion, you have rules that you have to follow to show your devotion to God. And so, this is the problem with society. Now, I know I went off topic a little bit, but I haven't, because this is the same scenario that's going on. What he's talking about is the truth, trying to tell people you can talk about freedom of speech. This is why the whole thing of him taking over Twitter was freedom of speech. Now, what's going on when it comes to the White House and all this stuff that he was saying is they're saying, well, there's a problem with what you said. Well, there shouldn't be a problem with what he said because he has his own platform that's supposed to be freedom of speech. And so because of that, it already causes a problem. Because either way it goes, he's wealthy, he owns a platform that billions of people get on, and yet there's a problem. So there's always going to be a problem with someone saying something. But whatever you say, make sure it's meaningful for everybody. And make sure it means something to you, not just something to say because it sounds good.
Yeah. But given your power and given what you have amassed and the importance you have, I would think you want to be trusted. I would think maybe you don't need to be liked or hated, but trusted matters. If X is going to become a financial platform where people are going to put their money, where the government's going to give you money for rockets, where people are going to get into the cars, they need to ultimately decide that you are, maybe they don't have to decide that they love you, but that you are ultimately a decent and good human being.
Yes, I mean, I think I am, but I'm certainly not going to do some sort of tap dance to prove to people that I am.
Boom. Right there. That's right there. He said some stuff that makes a lot of. He didn't even have to say much. You see, that's a man you can tell that's real. He ain't about no bullshit. Because he said he ain't gonna tap dance. He's not gonna walk on tippy toes for somebody. He's gonna tell he's gonna tell how it feels. He's gonna be straight and honest. He's gonna get straight to the point. He's gonna make sure you understand what the hell he's talking about. that's a man they want to put your money on. He's a guy you want to bet on every time. So yeah, Elon Musk knows what the hell he's talking about. So let's listen to the wisdom of this man.
So as for trust, I mean, I think we break that down in a few ways. If you want satellites sent to orbit reliably, SpaceX will do 80% of all mass to orbit this year. China will do 12%. The rest of the world will do 8%. That includes Boeing, Lockheed, and everyone else. So the track record of the rocket is the best by far of anything. You could hate my guts next. You could not trust me. It is relevant. The rocket track record speaks for itself. With respect to Tesla, we make the best cars. Whether you hate me, like me, or indifferent, do you want the best car or do you not want the best car? So I will certainly not pander. And Jonathan, like, the only reason I'm here is because you are a friend.
So pause that real quick of what he said, because that's some ingenious words come out of his mouth. You might not understand it too well if you ain't catching on to what he's saying. And what he's saying is, the work will speak for himself. You might not like him, but you can't deny his work. His work is phenomenal. Okay, it's amazing. Okay, he's saying he's made a rocket that can do 12% of stuff out in the satellites or whatever in space, and then China has, actually I think I took that wrong, 12% was China and the rest was 8%. So, I mean, that's ingenious. He can do rockets all year long. And then at the same time, you got Tesla cars that are supposed to be way safer, more efficient, and things for people. And now, kind of reasonably priced from what I can hear and what I've heard and so forth. But excuse me, it's just, he's not lying. A person that puts good work into their life, it doesn't matter what you say about them, because they will always produce more good work and more good products and things. And so that's not a man who's just saying something because he's bitter, because it sounds like he's happy with all the things he's created and all the things that's coming to him. This is a man who's trying to excuse me, stand up for something, stand up for what he created, his legacy, stand up for the things he believes in, and most importantly, stand up for the rest of the people, or he would have never took over Twitter to begin with. Because before he took over Twitter, if you don't remember, a couple of years ago, they were kicking people off Twitter for the most ridiculous things. You know, you can say, oh, people want to talk about Trump getting kicked off, but who cares about Trump, seriously? When it comes to regular people like artists or someone that might have just said something funny, then no one got the joke, so they got kicked off of Twitter, things like that. Those people didn't deserve to get kicked off. And especially those who constantly wanted to take it over, who wanted you to believe whatever they want to believe. And when I'm saying this, I'm talking about the groups, again, that I always complain about, that have too much power, these organizations, these groups that don't really have a purpose or serve a purpose to benefit mankind, but only for themselves, and make it difficult for the rest of us. So, yeah, you got to honor and respect his way of thinking.
Like, what was my speaking fee?
So you're not making any. First of all, I'm Andrew, but
Yeah, sorry.
it's okay. Second of all, we've known each other for a very long time.
You're talking.
Yes. And
listen,
you know,
what I'm trying to illustrate is that sometimes I say the wrong thing.
I think there are a lot of people who are tired. But let me go back. No.
You should hear the sketches that SNL wouldn't post, by the way. Those are really good.
And I would say, unfortunately, or fortunately or unfortunately, whatever friendship we have, not great. We don't talk to each other that much. But let me ask you this: it's true. That's true.
Like, where am I?
Doesn't return phone calls.
Yeah. But the point is, I'm here because you're a friend, not because I'm being paid or because I need any validation or anything. It's that we've been friends for 16 years. And I promised you I'd be here, and that's why I'm here.
Well, I appreciate you being here.
Not for any other reason.
But let me ask you this then. Let's just go at it. Just tell me what happened. You write this tweet that says that this is the actual truth. People read that tweet.
Yes.
And they say, Elon Musk is an anti-Semite. that he is.
So there we go. This is the part that I was talking about that I kind of wanted to get at, because it's just, you gotta make someone with power that is actually beneficial for the world in our time period right now. A person that is good for the world, that says something, they automatically make them look bad and try to humiliate them and throw them under the rug. And I think this guy needs a little bit more respect, because even with the thing, I think it was Alexandria Cortez who said something bad about Elon Musk, but yet she's driving Teslas. So I mean, come on, you gotta have respect for the guy. He created a whole new type of way of driving that is efficient. And he created a Twitter that is better than Twitter. And he's creating things in space that none of us can even imagine, not to mention his old mecha robot, which is confusing to me, because I thought mechas meant there was a human inside the robot, not unless the human is the robot. And then again, I didn't confuse myself with that whole concept. But anyway, you gotta give respect to where respect is due.
He's riling up this base. You're hearing it from, as I said, the White House. You're hearing it from Jewish groups all over. I think Jonathan Greenblatt from the ADL is here. There's lots of people who say this. And by the way, it's not just that.
Did you read the whole thing?
I did, and that's why I want to ask
And
you
the
about
responses?
Excuse me?
I said more.
More responses?
Yeah, I said more than what you just read.
Yes. No, there was absolutely more.
Yes.
But I'll tell you the thing that struck me. It wasn't, and I'm an American Jew. It wasn't just the people who had that view. It was actually people who really are anti-Semites, who said, "Oh my goodness, go Elon! This is fabulous." And that actually was the thing that really set me back. I said to myself, "What's going on here?" And I want to know how you felt about that in that moment when you saw all of this happening.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I did clarify almost immediately what I meant. I would say that was, if I could go back and say, I should, in retrospect, not have replied to that particular person, and I should have written in greater length as to what I meant. I did subsequently clarify it in replies, but those clarifications were ignored by the media, and essentially I handed a loaded gun to those who hate me, and arguably to those who are anti-Semitic. For that, I'm quite sorry. That was not my intention. So I did, post on my primary timeline to be absolutely clear that I'm not anti-Semitic, and that I, in fact, if anything, am philo-Semitic. And the trip to Israel was planned before any of that happened. It was neither here nor there. Do you see this thing? Mm-hmm. Do you know what it is?
I do, because I actually followed your entire trip to Israel.
Right.
Why don't you tell everybody?
This says bring them home. The hostages. It was given to me by the parents of one of the hostages. And I said I would wear it as long as there was a hostage still remaining. And I have.
Now, see, that's not just a thing where he's got something to prove something. He's actually wore a symbol, a necklace or whatever, a talisman, I guess, to represent those that have been, taken hostage by, the opposing enemy. And won't take it off until every hostage has been brought back to Israel. So that's a good thing. That's a thing where he is trying to prove he believes in the cause of getting all the hostages back. And there's a lot of sick stuff if you pay attention to the news that's going on over there with this hostage situation. It's getting really ugly, not just in Israel and Hamas, but also what's going on in Ukraine and Russia right now. And I've watched a lot of this stuff recently, and to be honest, I didn't know what to talk about. And so I figured I'd go here first and then try to go back around to one of those situations, because there was something in the news where they were talking about this war with Hamas and Israel that I thought reminded me of something biblical in Genesis as well as Judges in the Bible. So these are books in the Bible for y'all that don't know, Genesis and Judges. So this is not something where you can just say, okay, now this guy is just doing this, and if you want to believe it's for show, then that's for show. But I believe that proves he has a heart, and even the Tin Man had to get a heart, but the wizard was just Richard Pryor.
What was that trip like? And obviously, you know that there's a public perception that, and you're clarifying this now, but there's a public perception that was part of a apology tour, if you will. That this had been said online. There was all of the criticism. There was advertisers leaving. We talked to Bob Iger
I hope
today.
they stop.
You hope?
Don't advertise.
You don't want them to advertise?
No.
What do you mean?
If somebody's going to try to blackmail me with advertising, blackmail me with money, go fuck yourself. But
Good job. Oh, you know why I'm laughing, but look, that's the coolest thing to me, and the most realest thing. He's not even holding back his tongue, okay? He's saying, you trying to blackmail me, you trying to buy me out. You're like, go F yourself, okay? Yes. Okay, this is, like I said, this is a man who's just telling it like it is. Who's real and he's got some kind of passion behind something. And the look on his face here when he says it, he's getting really pissed off about it. So yeah, you see what happened was he went from, the host of the show here, went from talking about Israel. As soon as Elon Musk proved that he was in there and he's trying to support a mother or a parent of someone who was held hostage, he had to switch to another conversation. So once again, he eased in the conversation of advertising on X, which is being taken away by Disney and many other places that are trying to advertise on X, but they don't like the way the platform is now. Who knows why? And so he said, hey, you trying to take my money away, and because of your advertisement, and he's saying, I don't need it. And then he said, if you're trying to blackmail me, go F yourself. Good job, Elon Musk, for telling him like it is and not letting the little guy get crushed, and that's all I gotta say about that. Okay, so yeah.
go fuck yourself. Is that clear? I hope it is. Hey, Bob, if you're in the audience.
Well, let me ask.
So right there when he says, hey, Bob, and he's waving, he's talking about by Bob Iger, or whatever the guy that's running Marvel or whatever in Disney or something like that. So that's who he's talking about. And he's talking about other people too that has to deal with these certain companies that are trying to prove that they're the biggest filmmaking industry in the world. And I think Disney, to be honest with me, okay, I believe Disney spread themselves out too thin. Okay, first they bought Marvel, then they bought Lucasfilms, then they bought freaking Fox, which is crazy that they bought Fox, because Fox has always been vulgar. I mean, they had Married with Children, which was my greatest show when I was younger, and all kinds of stuff, and then here they go, they bought Hulu, they own Hulu, which is weird because, once again, there's Warner Brothers stuff on Hulu, because they got Smallville on Hulu, they got Tiny Toons, or what was not Tiny Toons, Animaniacs, which is, we already know, the Warner Brothers, so it's like, what the hell, they got Animaniacs, which means you own Yakko, Warner, and Dot, or Wacko and Dot, so it's like, It doesn't make any sense. They spread themselves way too thick, buying all these companies and not focusing on one priority. And now that they did focus on one priority, the film industry being all superhero movies, they've made it to where it makes no sense. Okay, I'm not gonna say that Brie Larson is a bad actress at all. I like her as an actress, to be honest with you. Her being Captain Marvel is, she looks good in the Captain Marvel outfit, I gotta say. She's hot shit. But the thing about it is, it's a character no one really knew about. Like, if you was to ask me, kid me that used to go to comic book stores all the time, teenager me, all that, because I've been obsessed with comic books and superheroes and science and stuff forever. So when you ask me, like, what I know about Captain Marvel, and that's before, let's just say this is all before Disney ever started making these movies. The only thing I would tell you would be Rogue took her powers, right? And then when you seen how Rogue's powers are compared to what they show in these movies, Rogue doesn't shoot lasers at her thing. She's got this touch thing and it absorbs your power. And so, but she can fly because she took it from Captain Marvel. And so, you know nothing about Captain Marvel. So, I mean, especially when they make these little Captain Marvel movie scenes, or should I say, Disney Marvel movie shows, or whatever you call it, on Disney Plus. Like when they make the Loki show and WandaVision, all those type of shows. They should have did Captain Marvel like that, so you understand who Captain Marvel is. She's not a popular superhero, but Captain America is. Iron Man is. War Machine, all them guys. Well, to me, War Machine was. And it was funny because a lot of people back in the day didn't know that War Machine even exists and that he was black. And I was like really obsessed with his comic books when I was a kid. But the thing about it was everyone liked, we only had like two black superheroes at the time, and it was the Mantis, which was a thing in the early 90s, and then Meteor Man. And then Blank Man was something that they made up in living color, but no one cared about Blank Man. But the thing is that during that time period, I was reading black superheroes like War Machine, and Spawn, and Shadowhawk, and Bishop, and there's so many others that no one knows about because they don't really pick up the book. No one picks up the book. But when they watch the movies, they go, oh, this is what it is. And then they don't know what the hell the story was in the book, how they got their powers, anything like that. They only know what the media is. And that's the thing. The majority of people who like superhero stuff never picked up a comic book in their life. And they base their whole story of that character based off of what they watched on television or in the movies. So when it comes to Captain Marvel, who doesn't have too much of a legacy, and no one talked about her at all, ever, when I was younger, never. They would always talk about the dude superheroes. And when you talk about a girl superhero, it would always be like Storm, Jean, Rogue, Wonder Woman, the main powerful chicks. But you would never hear about Captain Marvel. And so this is why Captain Marvel, to me, is not liked or failed, because no one knows who she is. So it's like if they would have brought a series, TV series of her, I bet everybody would like her more now. But they didn't do it that way. They did it the other way around, and no one likes her, this and that. But I'm sorry, give that woman a TV series called Captain Marvel and let her do her thing without all the other sidekicks and stuff. Maybe Nick Fury, because why? Samuel L. Jackson's and shit. And I have no idea why I went into a big Marvel Disney rant, but I just have to say it because she's not a bad actress. She's not bad looking in the suit, but no one knows who Captain Marvel is, and so this is why she doesn't really make that much of a big shout out. Pretty much Captain Marvel was put in the streams so people could like it, and see how it was like the first movie or the last movie where Stan Lee was in. It was kind of like a goodbye message to Stan Lee at the beginning if you watch the intros of Captain Marvel, which was one of the, and the thing is, it's not even, Marvel like totally erases the fact that Jack Kirby went with Stan Lee to help create Marvel, even though he created most of all our superheroes in America because he was DC at one time. It's just a crazy thing to think that his legacy ends with Captain Marvel, a character that no one really knows about. it's just like they want to make a Wonder Man thing. No one knows that there's a Wonder Man in Marvel when we got Wonder Woman. And so it's just like it changes everything. Wonder Woman in DC. So I'm just all over the place with superhero stuff. I forgot all about Elon Musk here. It just really bothers me. But this is what he's talking about right now. So anyway,
Ask you then.
That's how I feel. Don't advertise.
How do you think then about the economics of X? If part of the underlying model, at least today, and maybe it needs to shift, maybe the answer is it needs to shift away from advertising. If you believe that this is the one part of your business where you will be beholden to those who have this view, what do you do?
Why?
I understand that, but there's a reality too, right?
Yes. No.
I mean, Linda
no,
Yaccarino's right here, and she's got to sell advertising.
Absolutely. So, totally. So, no. Actually, what this advertising boycott is going to do? It's going to kill the company.
And do you think that
and the whole world will know that those advertisers killed the company, and we will document it in great detail.
But those advertisers, I imagine, are going to say, we didn't kill the company.
Oh yeah.
They're going to say,
tell it to Earth.
But they're going to say, Elon, that you killed the company because you said these things, and that they were inappropriate things, and that they didn't feel comfortable on the platform, right? That's what they're going to say.
And let's see how Earth responds to that.
So 2 things. One, he's just showing, he's trying to prove something here in a way. He's trying to prove how these companies, these organizations can destroy something everyone likes. And so that's why he's saying, it's going to be documented that they destroyed the company and let the world see it. But then the other thing is he says Earth. Like I said before, he says Earth sometimes a lot. And what it does is this is where you get those little stupid rumors. I saw some crap with some conspiracy theories that he's supposed to be an alien, because he says Earth, but I say Earthling sometimes, so it doesn't matter. Just you got to look at the big picture. We're just tiny little ants on this giant globe, traveling millions of miles an hour in space. To us, it just looks like we're just walking around, nothing's moving, but this whole ground is moving, this whole surface is moving. It's spinning and spinning and the crap, and it's going around in this big-ass orbit around this big-ass star we call the sun. And it's like, it's amazing that none of us spin off flying into the middle of the galaxy, hitting other planets and meteors and shit. There's people like bing, 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 like ping pong balls just flying through space. Or freaking, what do we call them, pinball machines, like bing, 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 bing. It's like, it's amazing. It's only something that can be an act of a God, honestly. But if you think about it, we're all spinning around constantly, and we're on this planet, this big toilet Earth, and yet none of us can get along, all over petty little meaningless nonsense. But we all share a similar lifestyle. We all share a symbiont circle. We all come together based off of common interests, the likes and dislikes. But most of the time, those likes and dislikes are always debatable and always brought up as a way to separate and divide and, in some cases, conquer. So this is some heavy stuff if you think about it. And this man breaks it down into one thing. So if you think about it the way I'm saying, you would start referring to the world or Earth, or in my case, sometimes the verse, which I'm always talking about the universe. So, hey, this is SOK universe. So, you gotta think about it. You don't think small. Always try to think big. Always try to expand your mind so you can obtain knowledge and be greater than what you are today. And that's a line quoted by the great Shelby Lee Kyles, SLK.
Okay, this goes back to...
We'll both make our cases,
right,
and we'll see what the outcome is.
What are the economics of that for you? I mean, you have enormous resources, so you can actually keep this company going for a very long time. Would you keep it going for a long time if there was no advertising?
I mean, if the company fails, because of an advertiser boycott. It will fail because of an advertiser boycott. And that will be what bankrupted the company, and that's what everybody on Earth will know.
What do you think then of the? This goes back to the idea of trust, though.
Then it'll be gone, and it'll be gone because of an advertiser boycott.
But you recognize that some of those people are going to say that they didn't feel comfortable on the platform, and I just wonder and ask you and think about that for a second.
Tell it to the judge.
But the judge is going to be
the judge is the public,
and you think that the public is going to say that Disney is making a mistake.
Yes.
And they're going to boycott Disney?
They already are.
Well, that got a positive again. See, that proves my point. It proves my point. Well, what I was saying about Marvel and Disney and all this stuff, I'm not going to get back into it, but I already know what the whole thing is. Once again, I watched these news media things talking about this interview, and they were talking about how Disney's pissed at him in advertisement. And that's why I came up with this whole thing and going off about Brie Larson, which I strongly believe that they messed her over in a way, because like I'm saying, they gave her a character that was meaningless to people. I mean, a lot of them characters that was created, like Guardians of the Galaxy, wasn't big of a thing everyone cared about. Now it's a thing because they made a good show. And like certain other ones, Valkyrie, I didn't know anything about Valkyrie, but I knew who Thor was, you know, and so now she's this big thing in Marvel. And it's like certain other characters, you'd be like, who the hell are these guys? And so it's like they're trying to bring all the Marvel characters together, but they're overlooking some that could be great, you know what I'm saying? And Captain Marvel should have had a TV series like they do with WandaVision and all that, and not just cut off after 6 episodes like they did with Falcon and the Winter Soldier and some of the other ones, but gave it like a 24 episode series. And if any of you took film production or anything like that, like I did, you know that the first season can be anywhere from 6 episodes to 12 and 22. And a good season, after a show's established and really liked, is 24 episodes. That can be done. So the thing is, give her 24 episode seasons, let people love Captain Marvel for what she is, and then make movies based off of it, like they do Superman. I mean, Smallville went on forever, and bam, there's Superman movies. So, yeah, I just believe, I don't know why I keep going off about it, because I get tired of people. I think what it is with this internet crap is people get on here and they go off about things, and then people start going, yeah, that's right, and then in some cases, those that have opportunity to go see premieres and things like that, they'll talk so bad about it. So when someone goes and watch it, they automatically hate it mentally because they psych themselves out mentally by hearing what these other people say. They go, okay, this movie's gonna suck. Me, I do that opposite. People walk up to me and go, oh, have you seen this movie? And this is way before all this internet crap. They go, oh, you seen this movie? Man, this movie's cool. And I would already look at the personality of the individual that tells me this. And I go, okay, that movie's gonna suck, so I'm not gonna go watch it. I only watch the movies after people stop liking it because I want to get my own personal opinion, not the opinion of this other person that said it was so cool and this and that. You can have someone go watch a crappy movie, like a crappy little kid's movie. Let's say they made a Teletubby movie where they meet Barney or some shit, and then somebody's like, oh man, that was a cool movie, da, da, da. Now you already know both them characters suck. The Teletubbies and the freaking Barney. And so someone's trying to tell you to go watch a movie like, oh man, it's cool, Barney was breakdancing and the Teletubbies started doing kung fu or something, you know, people go watch it thinking that's what's going to happen. And then it's a total bust. You go back, you're like, yeah, that was a stupid ass movie. Well, of course it's a stupid ass movie, but you wouldn't watch it because a lot of people said they liked it. And that's the problem. And so it's this thing with this is you got a lot of people saying they hate the movie. And some people, to them, the movie might be good. People, her fans, might like the movie. All 3 of them girls that were in the Marvel's movies might like, you know, that character, those movies, whatever. But the thing is, we're brainwashed by media and people who already hate, and they spread more hate, and so it makes it worse. So, I don't know. I haven't seen the Marvels, but I'm just stating this as an opinion. Like people say they hate Hulk, She-Hulk. I didn't think it was that bad. It was alright. I especially like the part where they bring back stuff that from the 70s, Incredible Hulk show. Like I used to watch that a lot when I was a kid. And original Thor, and that when Thor fought Hulk was cool as hell. But now that when they did it in the Ragnarok, it was even better because Hulk can talk and stuff. So I mean, I don't know. It's just a lot of stuff doesn't make sense. But I swear people get brainwashed more by things on the internet nowadays than any other form of media before. And so it ruins a lot of things and opportunities for people that work in these careers. And so, I'm just going off topic of what Elon Musk here is saying, but what he's saying is, yes, Disney already destroyed themselves and is already hated because they're not planning things out properly. You know, you gotta totally look at who is a big hero and who isn't if you're gonna make these Marvel movies. Who has more of a legacy and a foot in Marvel as a character than just pulling one out that people know about but don't really know. You know, everybody knows Wonder Woman in DC world. Everyone knows her. But why is that? Because she's one of the big three. Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. Flash would be number 4. You know, you can go on and beyond that and say Green Lantern or Green Arrow or whatever. You know, Aquaman, you know. But so that's DC though compared to Marvel. You know, and then like I said, most people don't understand this comic stuff unless they have been reading the stuff. Because most people will say Superman and they'll think that Superman comes from Marvel, or they'll think that Spider-Man's in DC, when they don't really realize that the creators, Jack Kirby being the main one, worked at DC and then moved to Marvel and created Marvel with Stan Lee. So it's 2 different companies in 2 different places. And there's even more beyond that because there's characters that's not even in DC or Marvel that was created way before and a lot of people know about. You know, most of them was created by radio and stuff. So, and that's back before we had television. So you gotta be, it's more of a, one of these things once again where you have to be really passionate about to know every in and outs about superhero world or comic book world. So this, without these movies, a lot of people really truly don't know these characters. The only problem is they don't stay true to the source material, and that's the problem that comic book readers have, me myself included. But it has nothing to do, once again, with what Elon Musk is saying, except for the fact that he just said Disney's already destroying themselves and so forth. So yeah.
There are some that are for lots of different reasons, but you think that this is going to, that you have the, this goes to actually the interesting of power and leverage.
Let the chips fall where they may. Let the chips fall where they may.
Can I ask why that is the approach? And I ask it because you've been
What's the other approach?
Well, you've been very particular about the approach to Tesla. When you think about the engineering involved in that, the approach to SpaceX, the approach to some of the stuff you're doing with AI has been very specific, right? There's not a let the chips fall where they may approach to those businesses, I don't think.
No, we focus on making the best products. And Tesla's gotten to where it's gotten with no advertising at all.
I understand that.
Tesla currently sells twice as much in terms of electric vehicles as the rest of electric car makers in the United States combined. Tesla has done more to help the environment than all other companies combined. It would be fair to say that, therefore, as a leader of the company, I've done more for the environment than everyone else, and any single human on Earth. How do you feel about that?
That's a little prideful in a way, but I guess he would say he earned it, and a lot of people might, but other people will look at this and say that's arrogance, and that he's wrong for saying this, but maybe he's not, and maybe he should get the benefit of the doubt with a lot of stuff he's saying, and maybe someone should analyze the people that put doubt in your mind, and that's just what I'm saying. I could be saying things.
How do you feel about that? Yeah, no, I'm asking you personally how you feel about that, because this goes, we're talking about power and influence, and
I'm saying what I care about is the reality of goodness, not the perception of it. And what I see.
Wow, that's powerful right there. The reality of goodness, but not the perception of it. Meaning not the the idea of it, but the reality of goodness. See? Wisdom.
All over the place is people who care about looking good while doing evil. Fuck them. Okay?
Let me ask you
Beautiful,
this, because I think part of this, by the way, there's some people.
Yo, that's beautiful language. Let's go back up there. Elon Musk is like my hero right now, watching this interview.
Let the chips fall where they may approach to those businesses. I don't think.
No, we focus on making the best products. And Tesla's gotten to where it's gotten with no advertising at all.
I understand that.
Tesla currently sells twice as much.
I went back a little too far, but I got to hear it again because I'm telling you, this is why I say Elon Musk is a good guy.
In terms of electric vehicles, as the rest of electric car makers in the United States combined. Tesla has done more to help the environment than all other companies combined. It would be fair to say that, therefore, as a leader of the company, I've done more for the environment than everyone else, and any single human on Earth.
How do you feel about that? No,
How do I feel about that?
Yeah, no, I'm asking you personally how you feel about that, because this goes, we're talking.
Okay, so I'm going to wrap it up because I totally messed up by rewinding it and trying to get back to what I thought was cool. But I just want you guys to think about it. Not every person, and I know I talk about wealthy people a lot, but not all of them are selfish and conceited. Some actually have our best intentions in hand, and you got to watch out what the media says because they will take you away from that person and make you think that's the most evilest person in the world when they got your best interests at heart. And with that being said, I'm going to say this is morally right, so stick in for part 2 of this same interview. Peace be with you, and blessings upon you always.